Good morning. So today for math, we are going to continue on with our whole numbers, and we're going to jump back now to multiplying. So again, we're looking at multiplying by tens, hundreds, and thousands. If you recall our tricks from the last 2 days, we talked about when we are multiplying by tens, hundreds, or thousands, that we can count how many zeros are there, and we can add that many zeros to our answer. Alternately, if we are dividing by tens, hundreds, or thousands, we can count how many zeros are there and take away that many zeros to have our answer. So our two simple tricks that we have there for helping us multiply and divide by tens, hundreds, or thousands. Today, though, we are going to take it one step further. We are going to look at what this would look like if I do not have a 1 as my first digit. So, for example, if I have 7 times 300, does my trick still work? What do I do here? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to think of this problem this way. You're going to ignore your zeros for a moment. And I'm going to jump back to my multiplication facts there, which are hopefully solidifying in your brain. And you're going to do the first part of the problem first. So you're going to break this problem up into steps you know. So I'm going to say 7 times 3 equals 21. And now how many zeros did I have after my 3? I had 2 zeros. So now I'm going to jump back to my trick. And I'm going to add my 2 zeros. So 7 times 300 equals 2,100. So you see I looked at my first digit here and it was a 3. So I multiplied my 3 by my 7 and then I added however many zeros I needed to add. Let's look at another example of that. Okay, what if I have a bigger number here? What if I have 800 times 9,000? Oh no, this is looking daunting. But again, my same tricks can apply. Don't worry about all these zeros for a minute. Just ignore them, block them out. I'm going to look at my first digit. I'm going to look at my first digit over here. And I'm going to say 8 times 9. That I can do. 8 times 9 is 72. Now, I had some zeros on this side too, though. I'm going to see I had 3 zeros here that I know I needed to add. But I also need to add back on my zeros from my original number. So I need to add 2 zeros. So now, let's rewrite it here. Oops. 800 times 9,000 equals 7,200,000. So you can see there that it looks like it was a complicated number and the numbers were much bigger to work with, but my same tricks applied. I can just see, I can take my first 2 digits, my 8 and my 9, and multiply those by each other. And then I need to look at how many zeros I have now in my total equation. How many zeros are in my total equation? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I need to add all of those zeros into my answer. Let's look at another example here. Okay. What if I have, and this is where it will start to get a little more complicated. We're going to have to start pulling out our rusty multiplication skills and greasing the wheels and getting them running again. Okay, 11,600 times 900. So for a moment, I'm not going to worry about my zeros. I'm going to pretend they're not there. I'm going to look at anything that's not a zero. So on this side, I've got 9. And on this side, I have 116. So that is the problem I need to do first. I need to do 116 times 9. Now remember to line this up properly. Always do your work neatly when you are multiplying like this. Sloppiness is often where our errors lie. So remember, when we stack up to multiply, I start right here with this first digit. 6 times 9 is 54. Put my 4 and I carry my 5. 9 times 1 is 9. Add my 5 is 14. Carry my 1. 9 times 1 is 9. Add my 1, 10. So 116 times 9 is 1,044. So I'm going to write that over here. I'm not going to put my comma in yet. And then I'm going to go back to my original problem and I'm going to say how many zeros were in my total problem. There was 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to take all these zeros and move them to my answer. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 11,600 times 900 is 10,440,000. So I'm using my same trick, but I'm now doing my multiplication for my first, or for my numbers that are not zero first. So I'm looking at the beginning of my problem, and then I'm counting how many zeros I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm adding those zeros to my answer. Let's look at some more examples here. Okay, let's back it up to a simpler. So what if I have $24 times 20? Well, again, I'm going to look at my numbers that are not zero. So on this side, I have a 24, and this side, I have 2. So I'm going to double this. 24 times 2 is 48. I have 1 0 in my problem. So 24 times 20 is 480. Now, what if I had my 0 over here? What if I have 240 times 2? Well, it's the same thing. I'm still ignoring my zeros at first, and I'm saying 24 times 2 is 48. And then I'm looking back and I'm saying, okay, I've got 1 0. It needs to make the journey over. 240 times 2 is 480. Let's look at another one. What if I have 240 times 200? Again, I'm going to look at anything that's not a 0. So I've got 24 on this side, 2 on this side. 24 times 2 is 48. And then I'm going to say, how many zeros do I have in my problem? I've got 1, 2. I need to move them over. 24 times 200 is 4,800. What if now I've got some zeros in both of my numbers? What if I've got 2,400 times 20? I'm going to start exactly the same way. So I'm going to look at my numbers that are not zero. So I've got 24 on this side, 2 on that side. 24 times 2 is 48. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, how many zeros do I have in my total problem? I've got 1, 2, 3. I need to move all 3 zeros over to my answer. 1, 2, 3. So 2,400 times 20 is 48,000. Let's look at one more here. $2,400 times 2,000. Well, we're in luck because we do it the exact same way. I look at my numbers that aren't zero. I've got 24 on this side. I've got 2 on this side. And I say 24 times 2 is 48. I count how many zeros do I have in my total equation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I say, okay, I'm going to give you 5 zeros on this side. Answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put my comma where it belongs. And 2,400 times 2,000 is 4,800,000. So again, you're taking the same process as you had when you were multiplying by 10, 100, or 1,000, and you're just changing that first digit. So you're adding an extra step because you're going to multiply first by whatever digit that is, and then you're going to add your zeros. So you're going to start by looking at the numbers that are not zeros. So back to this first problem here, I'm going to ignore that 0 and just look at it as 24 times 2. And then I'm going to count how many zeros I have, and I'm going to add that 0 to the end. Again, it doesn't matter if the zero's on this side. It doesn't matter, like jumping back down here, if the zeros are on both sides. I'm going to look at the numbers that aren't 0, 24 times 2. I'm going to do that math and write it. And then I'm going to count how many zeros I have in my total equation, and I'm going to add those zeros to the end. So today you're going to be doing a little bit of work with that in your workbook. Your workbook lesson for today is exercise number 4. It is on page 11 through 13 today. And you have problems number 1 through 6. There is no challenge today. So you're doing numbers 1 through 6. If you have questions about today's math, please be sure to jump on our Zoom here at 9:30. And I want to talk just for a brief moment about how Fridays work in math class in 5th and 6th grade. Fridays, we have a wonderful thing. Whoops, that's a Y. We have Friday quiz. Yay. Now, I know Friday quiz doesn't sound exciting to you, but Friday quizzes are a great way to go back over what we learned in the week. And it's a great way to get some points. If you did your workbook for the week, if you came to me or to a sibling or to an adult and worked through problems that you were unsure of, then these are easy points. Why are they easy points? My Friday quizzes are made up of only problems that you have seen already. Meaning my Friday quiz problems will be problems from your workbook from the earlier week. So meaning tonight you are going to want to look back over exercises 1, 2, 3, and 4, and maybe do a couple more practice ones. If you had any questions, go ahead and ask those. And then on your quiz tomorrow, you will see a couple problems from each of those exercises that you will have the opportunity to do again. Now, I know that you have your workbooks at home, so this is kind of on an honor system. You're only hurting yourself if you go back and just copy the work out of your workbook, right? It's not helping you become a stronger math student. So please do these without just copying your work. Go ahead and do these problems again. And you will see that there tomorrow. So tomorrow when you go in for your math lesson, there won't be a video. There will be a Friday quiz fillable through Google Forms that you can fill out. Okay, again, if you have any questions with today's math, go ahead and jump on our Zoom here at 9:30.